Absolutely, Arabile, and the foundation upon which this court stands is the Constitution, and an important part of this Constitution is Section 27, one that this court had to invoke many times as it tried to assert the rights of the most vulnerable, the rights to basic healthcare, food, social security. And one organization that has been at this court many times on behalf of vulnerable South Africans is Section 27, whose, I believe, purpose has been to advocate for the Constitution and constitutionalism, and has held the executive accountable in many, many ways. Sasha Stevenson is joining me now, Arabile. She is from Section 27. Thank you very much for your time. Your organization has brought many seminal cases and has done a lot to assert Section 27 of the Constitutional Court. What does this moment mean for you?
Well, it's such a pleasure to be here to celebrate 30 years of the Constitutional Court, a court that has done so much to make clear the values of the Constitution and really the power of the Constitution. And that's what the court's trying to do, but organizationally that's what we do as well, using the Constitution as a way of making people's lives better, whether that's through ensuring access to healthcare services or education or food, water and social security. We're fortunate to be amongst a large number of civil society organizations that can use the law, that can use the Constitution to make people's lives better, and that's really what we're celebrating today.
And so, reflecting, on the past, what would you like to see reform in relation to the Constitutional Court moving forward?
I think the Constitutional Court is doing a wonderful job, and as with the Constitution, it's for us as litigants, as people in South Africa, to raise these issues and to bring them to the attention of the court. The law can be a very powerful tool for social change, and we all know that we need plenty of social change in South Africa. We need more realization of rights. We need more equality. And litigation before the Constitutional Court is but one way of doing that, but it's an important way of doing it.
And finally, can you reflect on maybe a seminal moment from the court that stood out for you, the power of the court for the people over the last 3 decades? If you can just summarize it in one moment, what would that be?
Oh, there's a lot. But one example that was just given by Justice Albie Sachs, in fact, in his address, was a case. It was Justice Sachs's last case at the court, and I was clerking at the court at that time for Justice Langa. And it was a case of a community that needed basic services from the state, and they had come to the court, and the advocate who was representing the city stood up and said, "I must apologize to the court for my client's failure to deliver." And Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke said, "Don't apologize to us. Apologize to the people that your client has failed." And that advocate turned around and apologized to the community that was in the court. And what I didn't realize at the time was that advocate is Justice Madlanga, who is now serving at the court. And I think it's a really important example of how law is important because it creates jurisprudence, because it fixes some real problems. But when used well, it can also be important in changing social relationships, in changing power structures. And that's something that the Constitutional Court has succeeded in doing, and it's for all of us to make sure that we are assisting it through bringing cases and through ensuring implementation of judgments, assisting it to continue doing so and strengthen it in that way.
Thank you very much, Sasha Stevenson. She is from Section 27. As proceedings continue and some of the country's best legal minds reflect on what this moment, 3 decades of the Constitutional Court means, and what the Constitutional Court, or what role the Constitutional Court must play going forward. Back to you, Arabile.
Konita, thank you so much for bringing us that interview. Then, of course, significant day indeed for South Africa's apex court, the Constitutional Court, getting, of course, celebrating its 30th anniversary.